What is happening, good people? We are here for Macro Dirt Podcast number 39 with Jared Face Like Foot Fungus Dillian.
What's up, used condom?
Oh, man. Whoa,
By the
man.
way, did you know that's what scumbag means?
What?
A scumbag is a used condom. Did you know that?
Stands to reason.
Yeah, I mean, we use the word scumbag all the time. We call people scumbags, but that's actually where it comes from.
Yeah. No, the etymology, that,
Yeah,
that gets right down to it. Absolutely. I was a bigger fan of Face Like Foot Fungus, quite
I
honestly.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. All right, let's get right into it, JD. Where are we starting today?
We're gonna start with the three H's. We had five H's. We're gonna cut it down to three H's.
Oh, for me.
Yeah, we're gonna get to know you a little bit.
Oh, all right. Very
All
good.
right,
Let's
we're gonna
go.
start with this. Okay.
Yeah.
Hero. Who is your hero?
Man,
I
you
mean,
know,
you're probably gonna say your dad, right? Like,
I was going to say it's a hard thing. It's hard to come up with one. I'm gonna be topical right now, right? Yeah, my dad number one. You could go back and forth between Jeter and Jordan kind of
yeah.
thing, but you know who I'm back and forth between lately is Musk and Nayib Bukele, and I'm gonna give the nod to Nayib Bukele as a freaking hero of mine lately.
So you got to tell me about this guy because actually he's not from El Salvador. Where is he from? Is he from the Middle East?
Be
Like,
honest with you, I didn't know he wasn't even from El Salvador, so I'd have to look up where he's
oh,
from.
okay,
Right. So I'm the hero status for him because in a short time, like he took over in 2019, right? He took over a country with $20 billion in GDP and the most dangerous place in the world. They are now at 35 billion in GDP and the safest country in the world. He put away thousands and thousands of gang members. He put his grapes on the line with the Treasury Department and bought Bitcoin in 2021 for them in size at like 42K, turned his stake into 600 million at 100K. And so I guess it's off from that now, but he doubled their money. And to me, he just speaks like a true head of state. He's a man of the people down to his socks. And so it's just amazing to watch this guy. I wish he was in American politics, quite honestly. So he can qualify as a hero of mine today.
yeah, he's kind of an interesting character because um the civil libertarians really get upset with him for. I mean, it's not as if the thousands of criminals he threw in jail exactly got due process. He just rounded them up and threw them in jail.
Yeah.
And so, as a libertarian, you look at that and you're like, he's an authoritarian, he's a dictator, or whatever. But you kind of have to balance that with the fact that you know El Salvador had like the worst crime rate in the world.
It's the most
Like,
dangerous place on the planet.
yeah,
Like the murder rate was like you didn't have much of a chance of surviving a year or two in that city.
yeah. So I don't know what the answer is. I mean, yeah, it's kind
It's
of
people.
interesting.
People are busting on Trump for the same thing now. And Tom Homan just rounded up a whole big group of MS-13 members, and we shipped them over to El Salvador. We're going to give Nayib $6 million, and he's going to take in all these MS-13 gang members and put them into his jail program, which basically has them working and kicking back contributions into society. So it's a pretty complex and very serious thing that they've got going on. And I just have a lot of respect for that. Like it's something that needs to be done, right? You can't live in fear or you don't have a society.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's a big one for me lately.
What is the highlight of your life?
Ah, man. That's an easy one. I'm a proud dad. I've got three super well-adjusted kids. My daughter graduated magna cum laude as a biochem major from University of Miami. My second daughter is in the Darla Moore School of Business at South Carolina. She's got a job at a big five accounting shop ready for her waiting after she graduates. My son's a freshman there, adjusting, kicking ass. He's a little bit like Frank the Tank right now, but in general, I think of them with them. I wake up every single day with a massive amount of pride in my children and kind of direct all of my efforts towards my relationship growing with them.
By the way, do you know who Darla Moore is?
Yeah, I mean, I've read the vague background on her. What were you going to say?
So she's alive. She lives
Yeah,
in Lake City. She's like 70 years old. One of the first women on Wall Street.
that's right.
She's worth 2 billion. She lives in Lake City, South Carolina. And if you've ever been to Lake City, I mean, it is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's kind of a cute little town, but it's to the fact that a billionaire lives there is just
yeah.
wild, you know.
She's the only billionaire for miles around
Yeah.
there, I would imagine, right? And Columbia, where South Carolina is a pretty small, quiet southeastern city. But I kind of fell in love with it pretty quickly from going down there, and that's why we managed to send another child there because it's a beautiful, beautiful place to go to school. It's a beautiful place to visit. The SEC football culture down there is like not to be believed until you're neck deep in it. So it's a really cool place, and I'm really proud of my daughter for being in that school. She's kicking ass with straight A's, and man, something beaming with pride about that.
Cool.
Yeah,
What is hilarious to you?
man, I'm a stand-up comedy guy. What's hilarious to me is stuff like Rodney and Robin Williams, Dice Clay, Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, shit like that. You ever hear the best Red Fox joke ever?
No.
So it's about the woman. Red Fox tells it better than anybody because he's got that amazing delivery. But he tells it about the woman that goes to the doctor and says, "Doctor, you gave me the wrong hormone pills." And he says, "What are you talking about?" She says, "I'm telling you, you gave me the wrong hormone pills." And the doctor says, "Why are you saying that?" And she says, "Because I got hair growing on my chest." And the doctor says, "How far down does it grow?" And she goes, "Down to my dick."
You know,
And it, good.
I gotta tell you, lately I've been digging up like old Rodney Dangerfield clips. Oh my
Amazing.
god.
Dude, his delivery in character
Yeah,
is half of the comedy for me.
I know.
Right? Yeah, I gotta tell you, I got no respect. You know what I mean? Like, you can't come up with anything more brilliant than that. I mean, the guy, have you ever seen him out of character?
No, no.
Exactly. And that to me is something that I can really appreciate.
So I love watching him on Johnny Carson. Like he
Yeah.
sits down with Johnny Carson, and Johnny Carson is peeing his pants laughing the entire time. You know?
Dude, that is the chemistry that I grew up on, JD. Like that literally I used to go from my bedroom into my parents' bed and lay in between the two of them and watch Carson because I
Yep.
refused to go to sleep. And I heard them laughing and I was like, what am I missing out on? They're having a great time. I want to hear this. So, and those were the scenes that I was walking in on. And man, those were the days. That's the golden era of, I don't know, guest to speaker conversation to me. Like those were just the absolute best. So thank you for that interview. That was fun, man.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I appreciate you doing that. So let's keep cruising along here. We got to get into the markets. Take us away. Where do you want to start?
Copper.
Yeah, what's the story? So I'm going to give you the short lead into this. Guy tweets yesterday, copper trading up to all-time or recent highs, probably nothing. And my response was, it's been nothing the last 5 or 6 times up here. It's probably nothing this time too. What do you think?
I mean, I was bullish like a month ago,
Yeah, you were.
and I'm not bullish here. I think it's overbought. I think you're getting up to previous highs. You're getting in the sell zone. You got DeMarc 13s all over the place.
Do you?
Yeah. But like every dude, I walk in every morning and it's gapping up like another 10 cents. I don't know what to do.
Well, today we got an outside day on the screen already.
Yep.
New high, took out yesterday's low. I think we're closing below yesterday's low on the LME. Let me just call that up so we can be accurate here. Yeah, looks like we're closing right at yesterday's low. So maybe that was just the end of the flash. It was literally all of a sudden out of the blue, everybody and their sister was talking about copper yesterday.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think a year, 2 years from now, we're gonna have $7 copper, $8 copper. Like I think it's going higher, but it's way overbought in the short term.
So do you think that we have one of those structural deficits, into like an economic boom where copper just can't keep up?
I mean, the long term story on copper is we're still building EVs like crazy. We need copper. Like it's just there is a structural deficit long term.
Yeah,
So
that'll pan out in price
yeah,
eventually. All right. The route going there may not be linear.
and it's not like, you know, all commodities are different. Like corn, wheat, like if you have a structural deficit of corn, you just fucking plant more corn,
Yeah.
and you have more corn. Like the deficit is gone in 6 months. Copper, it takes 20 years from start to finish to bring a copper mine online. You can't
Is that
just
how
start a
long?
copper mine. 20 years to start a copper mine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why in commodities, higher prices are usually the cure for high prices. But when it takes 20 years to get the next incremental ounce out of the ground, man,
Yeah.
I think you probably got a problem with that. So let's stay in the metals track, JD. Let's talk about gold above 3K. How are we doing? Cruising speed?
So here's the thing. So when we took out 3,000, I was kind of expecting we would run like an antelope,
Yeah.
3,100, 3,200 off to the races. And it traded up to 30, 30, 30, 35, and kind of stopped. And there's resistance there. And I'm kind of troubled by the fact that there's no follow through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we have a lack of follow through here. So the funny thing about markets is like you would think something like gold, which makes new all-time highs all the time, you think it would be the easiest thing in the world to trade. You just hold your nose and buy it,
Yeah.
and it goes up. But it's still hard. It's still hard.
Yeah. Um, I guess my thing with gold, the one thing that I do like about it a lot is that I can't exactly put my finger on what's driving price, right? It feels like an actual market for market's sake, right? It's just trading off of itself. Buyers come in, it rallies. Lack of buyers and heavy selling, it kind of pulls back into support. But the trend has been holding. And as long as, central banks are on the buy plan, you obviously got to stay long. I'm just wishing like you that it would have that $1,000 up move, and we're not getting it. We're not
Yep.
getting it. Gold. So let's talk about this for a moment. This is pretty cool to me. The year to date leaderboard, right? On my selfish leaderboard here, it's got stocks, commodities, a couple things on it, but gold GDX up 32% year to date. Gold miners. Gold and silver behind that are up 15% year to date. Behind that, all of a sudden, we've got E&P stocks up 10%
Yeah.
on the year.
Yeah.
What's that
Yeah.
all about, JD? Tell me.
Dude, somebody sent me a chart of slob today.
Yeah.
Schlumberger.
Yep.
It's breaking out. It's breaking out. Pull up a chart of slob, like a long-term chart.
Oh yeah, man. You can make a case, man. If even if you just look at a 5-year chart, you can make a case that this downtrend is ending, that it's been in from say the peak in 2023. So it's been a clear, year and a half, 2-year downtrend, and now we're attacking the 200-day moving average for the first time in months.
Yeah, and XLE is trading 94 and a half bid.
What's the
Um,
fundamentals behind that, though?
so I think part of the fundamentals is Trump. Like Trump is friendly to fossil fuels.
The industry, sure.
Um, WTI has gone from 66 to 70. Who's talking about it?
Yeah, good point.
Nobody. You know what I mean? And which is not a huge move in the context of oil, but that's a pretty big move. That's like a 6% move. So it's threatening to break out above 70. Like if I don't know, like energy feels really good here.
Yeah, yeah, and at $70 oil, I'm amazed that energy is performing so well. So we're going to see how this pans out. I'm going to tell you that I don't think that energy is going to be in the top of the leaderboard at the end of the year, and that this might be a flash in the pan. That'd be my view, but we'll see. Let's check out the bottom of it. Let's check out the loser board for a minute. Cannabis, forget about it, down another 35%. The market values that sector like used rolling paper, right? Irrelevant. Airlines and retail are off 11%. Uranium miners, cloud storage, and consumer discretionary are off 8%. So we've got a big mix of stuff weighing the tape down. We've got concentrated leadership up at the top, a little bit of commodity stuff. And I don't know how this year is going to pan out. It's really going to be interesting. We're not going to know anything until we stop caning big tech.
Dude, I got to tell you something, and this is going to upset a lot of people watching the podcast,
Uh-oh.
but I think uranium is done. I think it's done.
Really?
I do, yeah.
Price action absolutely sucks.
Yep.
It was amazing. At the highs, we were in that exact condition that you make highs in commodities in, where there's quote no no physical commodity around, right? There's no physical uranium around. Remember that story? Next thing you know, the price is cut in half. So had that happen,
Yeah.
so yeah, that could be a good indication that that sector is going to be challenged. This physical uranium chart has been straight down. The uranium miners peaked at 35. They're now down at 25, which seems like the range bottom. They stay here, we can make a case that they'll survive. And much through 30, much through, looks like 22, though, you got a big problem there. So what else needs to be discussed? What's going on in the rates markets, JD?
The rates markets are a fucking ass ache for me. I'm bullish bonds. I'm super bullish. We've talked before about how Trump and Besant are targeting the bond market. They want to get rates down. And the data is mostly cooperating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've had some soft data. We've had a little bit of hot data, but we've had some soft data. And the bonds are just offered. It
Yeah.
is it is a pain in my ass.
Well, what's cool now is that, I'm going to tell you that I spied a very interesting head and shoulders top in the US 10-year yield. And Braden will throw that chart up for us. But that is a conspicuous head and shoulders. And to me, it looks like a break of this neckline around 4%, and you're going to 3.5%. So, and if you think about it, if the admin is targeting lower rates, the data is softening. Let's just stay long bonds, man. Like, it makes sense. The setup is there. The trade doesn't have us on our back under pressure. So I think that we can keep our chin up and stay, let's just say, long bonds, and think rates are going to keep going lower. To me, if you get that breakdown through the head and shoulders neckline and rates start going lower, stocks are going to hold, man. Stocks are going to hold. And eventually, if rates start plummeting, they're going to come after Mag 7 again, because those notoriously perform in low rate environments.
Yeah.
Right? It feels like that shift that we just had out of Mag 7 was the globalists lost. The globalists lost the election. Mag 7 was the best performer under the globalist regime. And if that's going to change, we got to get out of Mag 7. And I think that that's what we saw all over the tape in the last month. So we'll see what happens. I'm a little bit encouraged. I'm still encouraged by the fact that we're working off that negative sentiment bubble that we were in. I still think that we're in one, but we're working it off. And, the VIX is literally back into VIX melt mode, back down towards 15. So if you ask me, if there's no incremental, oh shit, tariff headline, like a new line of tariffing or a new line of thinking.
Well, let me jump in there. So Trump made a comment the other day that like certain countries are going to be exempt from tariffs, or we're going to make exceptions for tariffs, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty big shift in tone out of Trump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, it was like we're doing 25% across the board tariffs and tariffs on Canada and tariffs on Mexico, and now it's like, oh, we're going to carve out some exceptions.
Yeah.
That's it seems to me that I don't think anything but happens by accident in Trump world. I think he's very smart. So the stock market melted down 10%, and he's like, okay, like I really don't want it to go down 20%,
Right.
So
yeah. And I feel like he kitchen sinked it. I feel like he kitchen sinked the tariff talk, right? He blasted out, the Overton window with, here comes whatever it was, 25% on everybody across the board. And then he shifted it around, right? He caused even more volatility. He made the Europeans batshit crazy because they don't know what he's going to do next. And it just forced them to de-risk down to the bottom of their de-risking level. And I think that we saw that at the lows. I think we've got good evidence that that could be a good low in the board in the S&P. And I'm not giving up my bullish ghost unless that low gives in and we start looking for that new low that you and Bob were looking for last week. It's not out of the question yet. I just think that with everybody looking for one more low, that a pullback to 5,700 or something like that in the S&P should be bought with both hands and feet. So we'll see what happens on that. Is there anything that we're leaving out in the markets, JD? Look at this crude oil 70 bid as we speak. encouraging. Um, Anything we left out in the markets that
No, I
we
don't think so. I think we covered it all.
okay. All right, good call. Let's move on. Where do you want to go off markets, JD? I heard you got a trade story for us. Is that true?
Dude, I heard this story. I was in DC. I met with a buddy of mine from the Pecos days.
Yeah.
Dude, this is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard.
Let's hear
Okay.
it.
So on the options exchanges on the Pecos, they had they kind of have like a specialist post, right? And they call it the LMM, the lead market maker. So the lead market maker, I worked at Botta Trading, BOTTA. That was a firm. So we were the lead market maker in like 52 stocks, 52 options, right? One of them was Yahoo. Okay. So this is like 1998. And Boda hired a guy from Chicago to come in and be the specialist in San Francisco. And this guy used to play for the Chicago Bears. He like walked onto the Chicago Bears, ripped, right? Let's just say his name was Alex. Okay, the guy's name is Alex. Ripped. He started every morning by doing 500 push-ups, 500 sit-ups, and he would pray for 15 minutes. Very religious guy. Like he would pray every morning.
I
So
love it.
he comes into the LMM on the P Coast, and now this is a guy. When he was in Chicago, he was making markets in American Express, Procter and Gamble, Campbell's Pork and Beans, like slow old economy stocks. You make money by selling options. The stocks don't move. You just sell options, right? He's like they call him a front spread trader, right?
Mm.
So he comes to the Pecos and he's making markets in Yahoo, and they are lifting him out of his shoes on strangles on Yahoo, buying thousands of strangles, and he's selling strangles, selling strangles, selling strangles. Well, earnings are the day before expiration, okay, and he is short gamma, short vol out the wazoo, right? So this is kind of before like things really went nuts in the dot-com bubble. Yahoo was trading at $40. Earnings come out, the stock goes from 40 to 140.
You got blown
The
out.
stock goes from 40 to 140. He looks down at the screen. He's out like 40 million bucks. Like it's a blow up. Like blow up the firm, blow up the clearing firm. Like it's the end of the world.
That's a
Right?
call Dick Fold.
Yeah. So the guy in the middle of the trading floor, he gets down on his knees and starts praying. In the middle of the trading floor, he starts praying. He's on the trading floor praying. And the stock goes from 140 to 130 to 120 to 110 to 100 all the way back to $40.
Divine intervention.
Yeah. And the next day he quit. He resigned. He said, I'm never doing this again.
That is amazing, man. Oh my God. I love though that the religious guy actually got help from God when he got on his knees. And if you don't believe in God after a story like that, I don't really know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Because I was just about to say, I was like, this either went double against him or it came all the way back. And I can't wait to hear what. And I love that it came all the way back for the guy, or it came close to coming back. $40 is a tough loss. That's a tough phone call to make, right? Big time, man. I mean, the exchange stories are the best. The exchange stories are the best. And I'm going to make sure that I come up with another one. Come up with one for next time. You know what I'm excited about, JD? I got to mention this. Starting a new product.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm starting a product with TG Macro called the Sailor's Deck. And what it is basically one-on-one trade coaching with me. And you get 30 minutes a month, every month, to go directly into a call and discuss the trades that I have on the view matrix and how to approach them and how to manage the risk in them. And I've got a couple of anchor tenants that are interested right off the bat. So I'm excited about that. We're going to see what happens. I'm trying to branch out, the portfolio from just selling the newsletter.
Dude, I just like to write. My hat's off to you for doing that. I just like writing the freaking newsletter.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I decided that I like the people side of the business so much that I want to help the people that are kind of giving me the idea that that's the help that they want. So I'm excited about that. It's always fun to try something new in business. It's a little bit scary. It's like having a party and wondering if it's going to be a Bobby Brady party. If you remember that episode of the Brady Bunch where Bobby gets set up the whole house for a big party and then nobody shows up, right? And he's sitting around staring at a bowl of full potato chips, and he's like, so that's the big scare about launching a new product, but hopefully that won't be the case. And that's it, though. You got to approach these things with some confidence, and there's no other way to do it, man. What else do we need to discuss today, JD? Is there anything left?
We can cut it short. I think,
that was a good 25-minute macro
yeah.
dirt odd number 39. We've got a couple of
I
amazing guests.
got to tell you, we've been doing this a while. 39 weeks of the macro dirt. That's pretty crazy.
Man. Yeah, and we haven't taken a week off, I don't think.
I got to tell you, there is 1 week in May I have to take off.
Okay. All right, that's it. We'll bite the bullet.
I'm doing a writing retreat in Mississippi. I'm going to Oxford, Mississippi, and I'm going to work on my book for like a week straight.
Really?
No, like I'm going to have internet, but like I'm not going to be following the markets or anything like that. So,
have you ever been to Oxford?
No, I haven't. I've been to Mississippi. I've been to Jackson, but I haven't been to Oxford. So.
I went to Oxford when I went to visit Ole Miss with my son, and it's an unbelievable place. It's a really, really cool place. It's like going back in time. You can eat off of the ground in Oxford, Mississippi. It's like 1954 there. You're going to really, really like it. So that'll be great for your mindset and for writing and everything like that. It really, that'll be really cool for you to do.
Yeah.
So have a great trip with that. We've got a lot of big plans, though, for the Macro Dirt podcast. Like we've been telling people, we're going to record a couple in person. We're going to have some great guests. We need you people to like, subscribe, share it away, because we intend to be here for a long time to come, helping people with markets and saying goofy shit, right? That's the story for us right now. So that's the end of Dirt Podcast number 39. Hasta la vagina, good people.
Hasta la vagina.